Hey, this is John from Freedom Force Talk Squad. Glad you're here. It's better that you're here. All right, we're gonna talk about a blonde ale, Henderson's food truck. Now, sounds pretentious, hipster shit. The idea, as explained in this well-written little bit here, is totally Toronto beer, by the way. And the idea is that it's a refreshing, uncomplicated beer meant to accompany the grub served up by the high-quality food trucks that circulate throughout Toronto. That's awesome. It's a good idea. Well done, Henderson. Let's see what we got with this blonde ale. Is it going to be complicated? Probably nay. Not bright. I would not bubbly, not too bubbly. Effervescent. The viscosity rate. Yeah, it's beer, but it's not made in a big ugly urn like a product produced by a company that sounds like Holson or Habats. To heck with Holson and Habats. Henderson's is offering with food truck quality. It's a little on the summery side, but it's not playing the usual citric game. It's almost tired now. They're like, hey, let's throw some citrus in it, and it'll make it delicious, and then we can just stop thinking about how to make beer neat. I don't know what that pause is about either, but yes, absolutely. Because it tastes a tiny bit like mainstream beer, but like if mainstream beer was really fresh. So, yeah, good on Henderson's. The blonde ale, the food truck, not even 4.8%. That's very manageable. Because you want an extra one when you think you're done. Oh, yeah, but if it's a little on the lighter side, not like some overly romantically flexible 4-point beer or something like that, but a 4.8, that's a nice medium. So let's talk about something that's called feminism, which Milo Yiannopoulos pointed out as cancer. And I just want to say a couple of general things about it. Feminism seems to always have a certain vibe, which is the man has more than he deserves, and the woman has less than she deserves. So I know there's this whole war between cis feminists and trans women. I know I was laughing at it for a while because it is hilarious, because these are all rather bitchy, miserable control freaks. But you know what really is important here? And I think that this is where women, not feminists, women, which are much better than feminists, one thing they could do is just make a point, please, of stating that you like men. It's okay, without men it would be less fun. Just doesn't have to be like just. There is an enormous internet world, and just cool women who are being cool are allowing feminists to dictate the cyber world's attitude, and it's infecting the real world. So that like you have these like psychotic radical feminists getting married and then just enacting a kind of PC slavery until like the fucking dude is like ready to die. I work at like in a kind of a blue collar gig, and all the guys who are married and have children are married to feminists, and those guys are treated like shit, and they believe idiotic things because ultimately they don't want this psycho feminist to steal his kid. And that's why they believe a lot of the shitty, dumb stuff they believe in. They're above their terrible situation. And this situation is caused by feminism. Maybe it did a few positive things along the way. I think those... Perhaps it would do some positive things elsewhere. You know how a lot of guys get called out on some pretty light stuff. That's a common thing. I really hope, please send this to a feminist. I know that you have people who call people out and they introduce you to that network and you guys wreck people. I know that you do that. Everyone does now. And the extent to which you are degrading humanity with this behavior is so epically disgraceful. Like, it's hard to talk about this only in one way for me, because with the women's treatment of the men that I see at work, I'll never fuck any of you again. Except I have good memories of women. And I know there are good women everywhere. I see them. And you viewers who have vaginas, who are some kind of horrible, politicized miserablist who wants to wreck our civilization and leave nothing and pretend that the Arabs will just finally go, oh, you're so cute, we're going to just do a reboot. No, that's not how it happens. You psychotic hate merchants. You have to let the world live again. You have to let people be willing to accept that men are sexual and sexually aggressive, and that some women, because a lot of women like that. Feminism confuses a very simple thing. There's a lot of alpha Conans, and there are a lot of magnificent, super hot princesses. They fuck the shit out of each other, and then there's a scaling back. But with other like things like, oh, he's not Conan, but he's a really good writer, or he's a really good salesman, and women like. Saying like, okay, well, I can't fuck Conan, but maybe I can fuck J.R.R. Tolkien or something like that. And it scales back to like, oh, this guy's actually just a cool guy. Like, that is where my hyperbole... Sorry, did I say hyperbole? I meant retarded hyperbole. Because it's very specific. drops away, and it's just like, please, admire. There are guys that you admire, and you can make it work. You know, but you also have this additional pressure. Now I'm talking to women, which I much prefer. The guy who is going to look after you has to be able to look after you. That's legit. That's absolutely legit. Often guys are not in a position where they can look after someone. That does. Not everything has to be a conservative, normal like household with like, you know, guy provides, chick looks after the kids. But like, you know, sometimes things are messy, especially in this age. It can be messy because people's skill sets are all redistributed by the communists who run our universities. And I will fight any one of you. These, while out quoting you in your own field, you piece of shit. These women who deserve a good life are in a situation where they need the men who can provide that. But if the entire political system around you precludes the opposite, where it's like, you know, where people wages are being driven down by policies that create a labor market that is it's beyond competitive, then it's hard for the guy to do that. In essence, Canada is cut, and feminists are the Cucksters. They are enacting the globalist Trudeau Liberal Party Canada destroying program. So that's why I'm peeved. If you want to be a pissed off chick, all men know what that's like. You know, we love you, we'll deal with it as best we can, and yeah, your feelings do matter, your thoughts do matter, but don't pretend that restating that all the time in various forms while being really fat is going to reach us, because we don't care what fat people think, especially fat women. Was that offensive enough? I'm talking about like disgusting people. I'm not talking like a little, like, you know, Romy. I'm talking, but have you seen photographs of radical feminist writers in the 80s? Who's the one, the hilarious one? Looks like a giant garbage bag. Oh, she's. Oh. Anyways, and of course, Camille Paglia is completely exempt to that rant because Camille Paglia is. So, that's why girls should like boys. Did you find my argument persuasive? Let us know in the chats. Hello. We'll keep the conversation going.
The comments. The chats.
Okay.
Super chats.
The super chats. We're going to read some super chats. It's like, hi.
Every fucking channel now.
Wait a minute. What are you doing? Wait. Just got a text here from Tim Poole. And he's saying, you guys inspire me to be more honest and awesome than any other news source in the history of the world. Well, I gotta say, from Freedom Force Talk Squad and the production team, I see is chinning in. Mr. Poole, if we can do good by you, I'm proud of that. We will try. And for all you women out there, we're pulling for you too. And there's one little category here we should address really quick between women and the feminoids. Is this is a semantic thing, okay? Because what feminism has meant in the last 5 years is a different category from what has come before. Simply put, I can remember in the late 90s, around about then, the word conservative was being bandied about when they meant what we now call neoconservative. Those are completely different things. Those are not the same thing. Okay? The Canadian Liberal Party is not liberal. That's a really important point. And mostly we know that. And people who call themselves feminists... Sorry, I just said... Women who call themselves feminists now are going back in time, right? They're women who went back from the 70s, 80s, blah, 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 all the way up. Like, for everyone pre, 2012-ish, who took that moniker, took that label to apply to themselves, that the new situation is different. And if you're still calling yourself a feminist, in spite of what feminism has become, then you're just a creepy opportunist and a real jerk. And you should change that about yourself. People who sneer at you for not being a feminist, they're not important at all. Your career may suffer. You may suffer massive ostracization. It's not as hard as you think. For years now, there's been a growing opposition to that social oligarchy. All right, I've talked too much. I had no idea this would go on this long. And I remember it was Betty Friedan. This was not when she was incarcerated, but it was when she, long story, but she said, if we want to be free, we're going to subscribe to Freedom Force Talk Squad.